Charlie City, get a dire.
To your left, there's a...
Sorry, shit.
So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pocken.
Mediums be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on OP barrel. Wire our strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the Griffin. Hit the Griffin.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. That was such a
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance, you guys in Charlie, Lance, you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Jetzt in die Breite ziehen, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurz Aufschaltung Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Mediums einleiten, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right.
Charlie on the left, Charlie, a Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out.
Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV cool shot.
Here they come, they're pushing hard, guys.
Deco. Tez on.
Go. Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3.
Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin. We'll get cross it then, get in their face. They got a highlighter, they just pushed up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta.
Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this.
Full pressure, guys, full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3. Get the f***ing arm, Jackson.
Cool shot.
Golf. I got him.
Okay, go, B3, go. Echo, go.
Get over on their mediums, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow. God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill.
I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family.
Meters altitude. Telemetry indicates input eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep them off you.
This is the query. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead, ejecting.
Roger, Control.
Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the next dropship. Orders?
This is Forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counted down to lift. Starting salvage operation. This is Forward 1. You're running out of time. Party camera is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropship gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online. Omega left, we're getting cargo secure. As soon as we're ready to live, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. We're now tracking multiple targets inbound.
We've got them on radar, Control. Moving to intercept.
Oh no! We're... At 220 meters altitude. Telemetry indicates input eject.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep walking.
This is McQuarrie. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead, ejecting.
Roger, Control.
Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the next dropship. Orders?
This is Forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift. Roger, Control, 3 hours. Starting salvage operation. This is Forward 1. You're running out of time. Party Gamma is nearly powered up.
Take out the APU gantries as soon as possible. If the dropship gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online. Omega left. We're getting cargo secured. As soon as we're ready for lift, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. We're now tracking multiple targets inbound.
Got him on radar, Control. Moving to intercept.
Oh no! We're
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to this matchup between ISENGRIM and Smoke Adders, MRBC Season 8, Week 2 matchup in Division C. I am the Magician, and I am joined by Rausa.
Hello everybody.
So, this is, for me, like I don't think I've casted ISENGRIM that I can recall at least. So I'm pretty looking forward to this because, frankly, I just love the Dane stuff. I love the videos he's putting out. I think he's doing that awesome job just commentating on the season so far. And we know that ISENGRIM is really serious this season. They want to win Division C. They're sick of getting second place. Second place is not good enough for them this season.
Exactly, man. Like, it's the reason why ISENGRIM are my favorite team in MRBC, because of all the propaganda vids, the pure dedication that Mech puts in those vids. He puts as much as he can into the MRBC season, so I hope that they finish first. But here comes Smoke Adders trying to say, like, you know, actually, we want to go to Div B, so we're going to stand in your way.
Yeah, so Smoke Adders is also has a lot of experienced players, but apparently they've lost some people in that post, Mech Warrior tournament, World Championship tournament, burnout. But look at the roster too. I mean, I see a lot of familiar faces, and both these teams completed the tournament, so props to both of them in doing that. I mean, that says a lot about your team, your leadership, and your players in general.
Yeah, man. After 6 months, and then you go through it, and then the MRBC season starts up. You're just like, I'm free, and then you gotta go do this, and like, Eisen and Smoke Adders, they've kept that want to win, to go on for this season and go up to Div B. So I think, all props to him. Props to any team out there that finished that long slog. Seriously, it was horrible.
Okay, so the first drop is going to be on Grimplexus. It's going to be Domination. That's new for MRBC this season, and it'll be 4 lights, 4 mediums, and you can only have one chassis that's a duplicate. What do you think the duplicate will be for both these teams?
Well, usually in the light drops, we usually can see a duplicate light. You usually can see a duplicate cheater, or I don't know, sometimes a duplicate Jenner. But it'd be interesting to see a duplicate medium. I don't know which one we could possibly see. I mean, if Grimplexus, I don't know really. Any thoughts?
I think you'll either see, because there's no hero mix, so it was really common for the Oxide, but I think you'll either see it be a light with the Gen or 2C. It's possible it could be the Cheetah, being that it is now the skinny small light compared to most of the others. Could be a Nova Cat or a Griffin. All right, we're gonna get started here. Drop number 1.
Oh man, get hype. That chat better be getting hype.
The hype is real.
It's all about Div Z this season.
Yeah, and you really want to get started. I mean, it is week 2 already, but you want to get started on the first drop for a match. You want to take that win because this is we've talked about before, but it's often considered a little bit of a coin flip. If you take 2 equal teams at this tonnage, just about anything can happen. But I actually feel like with domination, it's changed it up a little bit compared to skirmish because I think there's a little in this map too. I think there's a little bit more movement and choices that you can do. There's a little more tactics, I think, to how you're going to engage here than some of the other drops.
Indeed. So, looking at these drop decks, ISENGRIM have indeed gone for the double Arctic Cheetah for their duplicate, and for the Smoke Cutters, they've actually gone for the double medium, the Hunchback Forest P, very tanky mech for brawling.
All right, so we got Smoke Adders in red, ISENGRIM in blue, and right now it's a little bit of a slow start from ISENGRIM. I wonder, it seems like Smoke Adders started moving a little bit before ISENGRIM did, but not like that really matters.
Indeed.
Now you can't tell on the map here that I'm showing on the stream where the domination's at. It doesn't really, sometimes it has a green bubble in there, but this one doesn't right now. So this is right where the radar is. It's all in this center bowl area, all in the slopes. Now you do have to have at least one player in there from to either to keep the timer going in your favor or to stop it altogether.
Smoke Adders fending in those two light mechs in there, the Locust and the Jenner, taking it down to 43 seconds. ISENGRIM though setting up in the high ground.
Yeah, so it hasn't been, they're not quite just pushing into each other, but I think ISENGRIM, now that they have some mechs a little bit lower than others, I wonder if that means that they want to push into this. Have you seen any of the builds? I mean, I'm seeing Forest Ps and the Stormcrow. I gotta imagine it's mostly small laser type range on these teams and SRMs. But you're seeing some pulse there.
Yeah, some large pulse from the Hunchback 2C.
He's doing the 2 large pulse, 6 small pulse. You see 12 small pulse on a Stormcrow. What else do we got going on?
A lot of medium lasers being pumped out by the Smoke Adders there just to fend off this. I think this
all right, here they go.
Gonna come. Yep, here it goes.
All right, so ISENGRIM's pushing towards the radar, going to go around probably the right side here. But they're going to run to a light. Now, finally, they get into this Hunchback, and they'll be able to target him, but they are actually split up on both sides.
He's down. First Hunchback SP is down.
Yeah, and they got a Stormcrow legged, and that's 2 kills really quick for them, but it is 1 back in return. They did take down that Forest P, which sometimes takes a lot longer because of all the armor on it.
The second Forest P's been legged, and yep, it looks like he's about to go down. Down he goes. Nova in the middle of the ISENGRIM pack here.
Yeah, he shuts down, and it becomes easy killing there, or like that Stormcrow for ISENGRIM. But now you're seeing a lot of them actually kind of running around here. The focus fire, they want to try to return it. They are trying to get on the adder here, trying to finish it off. They got 3 mechs, 4 mechs now turned it on the adder. It takes it down, and ISENGRIM has a significant lead, and they are going to take this drop 1.
Yeah, they've got this. It's a very significant focus fire there, I feel, from the ISENGRIM mechs, just getting in with those small pulse. Initial trading just to stop all the damage there from well, sorry, not the damage, the caps from Smoke Adders to get them a little lead, but the small pulse taking the day with that drop.
Yeah, and the percentages are not too bad at all on ISENGRIM's other 6 mechs, which, it does mean Smoke Adders at least is targeting the additional mechs well, like a little focus fire, but I was really impressed by ISENGRIM's focus fire. They seem to, while they did a split attack, for the most part, it seemed like either 4 on one mech and 4 on the other mech. They were taking things down really quick. You see that Stormcrow and that 4SP on Smoke Adders, both under, one under 69 damage, one at 32 damage. And the damages are all pretty high, pretty even across the board, except for, Dane was the lowest, but he went down first, and he's a 4SP, so if he goes down first, that's a good thing for Eisen.
Yeah, and he took a long time to go down as well, so I think Job's a good one for Dane, being the Jarl for ISENGRIM, charging his fellow warriors into battle, so cool drop, very good drop. Question is though, can Smoke Adders recuperate from this?
Yeah, so with only 2 kills, they won't get the bonus, so it's going to start them at a fairly good deficit there. With only 2 kills, it's not too many points, and
Definitely going to hurt your standings for the rest of this season. You're going to have to try harder as the longer the season goes, the harder you have to push yourself to save your mechs and kill as many of the enemies. So getting a good start is really pivotal for a very decent season, and Eisen so far are doing that with their first drop being a 4-1 and the second drop while they're already 1-0 up.
so talk real quickly while I load up the map here. What do you recall what happened in the first week for both these teams?
Not so much for Smoke Adders. I do recall that Eisen took a 4-1 against Sky Rangers of Terror, losing that one brawl drop. I think it was the second drop they lost on Forest Colony, where they ran around the map and just didn't have the initial cap advantage, or they just were too focused on killing the mechs. So maybe that's something that Smoke Adders can capitalize on. Get the caps and run around the map and make Eisen bait them into chasing them. But I don't know so much what happened for Smoke Adders in the first week.
All right, so I get the map open. Essentially, Isengard moved down to this part, just down a little bit on the slope. There's some of the buildings as well, and you saw a little bit of range coming across. I'm not sure exactly where that. I think it was more towards this area, but if you recall, you can correct that for me. At a certain point, though, ISENGRIM decided they were going to push down, and when they pushed here, they did this little group went to the right, and one group went to the left. It looked to me like it was mostly the mediums that went to the right. At first, all they saw was a light, and they didn't get hung up on that light. They waited a little bit more, just a few seconds. That's all it took, and then they found that Stormcrow, and that's the one that they really jumped on, and they went right to the legs. Other than that, that's really just where the fight ended up happening at.
Yeah, the mediums for Smoke Adders, they were mostly boating medium lasers. Those inner sphere medium lasers, the workhorse of the inner sphere. The Locust, I think, was running 6 of them. The Hunchies were boating them as well, and they did indeed push in via that red line there, taking in that center part. The lights, well, 2 of them were coming down here, and then just regrouped with the rest of the mediums, kind of clumping up into a big ball, allowing the Eisenmechs to really get that banana shape firing line onto them and really select which mechs they want to kill first, which when you can do that with the small pulses, it's absolutely terrifying to fight against. Mechs will drop very, very quickly, and they managed to take those back 4 SPs down, with the initial one very quickly, and the second one I don't know where he was, but he wasn't there taking the damage for his team.
So there was a lot of small pulse going on that drop. Do you think that was their choice because its Grim Plexus runs a little bit cooler, or do you think that there's just a lack of trust in SRMs to register?
Maybe a little bit of both. SRMs these days, people seem to absolutely hate them, but for maximum pinpoint though, you boat the small pulse, especially for this deck, and if you've got a plan ahead of time and saying, right, look guys, we're going to get those legs and we're going to small pulse them to death. Yeah, small pulse is just the way to go, especially at that range. I mean, what did they bring? They bring the Nova, the Stormcrow as well was boating those small pulses, and the lights were just, small pulse anyway. So they had all the pinpoint in the game to a perfect plan just to set up, just to nail the legs and any perfect back shots that they could get. And the heat was an added bonus, quite frankly.
All right, so up next we're going to have Viridian Bog, and that's going to be 2 lights, 4 mediums, and 2 heavies. Now, we have seen with some matches where teams are trying to play either range or mixed range, and that was one of the things that Aries and I criticized a little bit about 228th, is because they tried to go for kind of a range to mixed range, but they ended up getting a bit too close to that center big hill that now has the stairs on both sides. And I think, in general, it seems to me that the team who is the most aggressive on this map is taking it, because if they can push past that hill to where they engage, that's a pretty big advantage, as opposed to going up the stairs and find yourself colliding with your opponent. much harder to fight there. But if you can actually get around that mountain and get onto them when they're just coming up the stairs, they're going to have a really difficult time. So one choice the team could also do is just not even to go towards that center mountain. I mean, most people end up going there by default because it's kind of like we're all, there's 4 caps that kind of make not quite a square, but a rectangle, but it's something, it's a pretty strong position to control. So most teams have ended up there, but I'm just thinking here, if you look at the spawns, Team 1, I feel like Team 1 has an advantage, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure Team 2 has won all the matches, at least that I've seen so far. Not all of them, because we lost that one, but most of the ones I'm seeing Team 2 win, and I wonder if they just have a little bit better visibility. They do have the stairs on that north hill, and that did play in to 228's opponent strat, because which was Storm Pandas, because they put a mech up there and they were able to look across, see exactly where 228 was at, and then push on them. And that would be a 228 Swamp Fox, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bog, I think it's changed a lot for that one side, for the south side. If anybody's following along with like MRBC maps or anything like that, but it's changed a lot for the south side. There's a lot of added humps and bumps around there, and the stairs, as you pointed out, are one hell of an addition, so that the both teams, if they wish to, can clash on that big hill. But with this deck, at least, I mean, what we got, we're going to have 2 lights, 4 mediums, and 2 heavies. There is a possibility for some deadly ER large play, maybe, or they could be some interesting ambush brawl type deals going down here or something. It's an interesting map, I feel. It's a lot of people hate it in group queue. They go, "Oh, why'd you vote Bog?" But it can be really, really interesting in competitive play to see what teams can come up with in order to mix it up on this map.
Yeah, Bog had it stay for a little while, though.
It did.
I mean, people are voting it all the time. That made some people upset.
I wish they'd stop. Alright, here we go. We're getting into the game here. Radiant Bog. Now the game mode is indeed Conquest, so what are we going to see? Are any mechs going to go for a little cap game? Are we going to go for a more controlling ER large type deal? Or are we going to go for that brawl?
We might see some initial capping, just getting the Gamma Sigma caps. It's possible with the spawns that Smoke Adders will get Kappa. It's unlikely that ISENGRIM is going to go to Epsilon. Theta, you only tend to go Theta if you're doing like a standoffish fight or the other team's standing off against you in your brawl. I mean, just try to force some situations, force some movement, but otherwise, I don't think we'll see that cap.
Indeed, and it looks like here on the ISENGRIM side, the builds, they've got a small pulse Nova coming out, and I think, yep, they're definitely fixing for a brawl. We've got the small pulse SRM Timber, the boxing glove summoner with the SRMs, and 2 Hunchback 4 SPs coming in, and they're definitely fixing for a brawl here. So they're going to scout out this opponent and see what the Smoke Adders.
Yeah, no, they had a Timberwolf and a Grasshopper on Smoke Adder's side. And an Enforcer, which to me signals they're looking for a little bit more of a range fight, at least at the LPL range.
Indeed.
Now, so they are hanging back, as Smoke Adders is, and there's some damage quickly on that Shadow Cat, who does go down to 86%. But Shadow Cats are a little fragile.
That should initially tell, though. ISENGRIM, they're setting up positions of the Smoke Adders going up on those hills, so that they can have control over this side of the map. 2 caps going down for Smoke Adders, so ISENGRIM have to make a move, and let's see what they can do. Plenty of time, though.
They've taken the hills up here on these plateaus, which does make it a little difficult if you didn't take enough jump jets, and you have to kind of know how you're going to jump here. This is something that Interior Scorpions used to like doing quite a bit. But as you mentioning with caps, they are going. Looks like they might try to sneak off and grab Theta here and just get a 3 cap going.
Ooh, yeah. Force the Smoke Adders to move off of those high points, and it's always a good one. So it looks like we'll probably see some little action down here at Theta. We've got 2 light mechs coming in for a little Theta cap, but there's 1 mech overlooking. Which mech is it? Oh no, it's just Cheetah there. Should come up on Seismic if he gets a little closer to the time that these mechs are here on Theta. He's coming here to have a little peek, and he should see them. Yeah, he's not going to engage that.
Now the Grasshopper is 5 large. I think that was a good choice here. Most of the range you're probably looking to fight at is going to be the large laser range. And there he probably wished he had ER large, but he doesn't want to get too hot, and he wants to be able to still handle anything that comes and pushes at them. So
yeah, I think handling the heat on this map, I mean, heat is a little bit of an issue on this map, so going for the larges I think is the smart option, especially if you feel that the enemy team is going to push at you, because all that heat's safe, but you still get a nice decent amount of damage output.
So it seems to me right now, ISENGRIM has 2 choices. One, they have to either get Theta or Sigma. Sigma.
Sigma's a little more out the way.
Could try to put back stairs, come around the back side, and basically close some of the. Looks like they're going to try doing, so they are pushing underneath. Now I wonder if they're going to skip Theta. Because if they go with Theta, then immediately Smoke Adders is going to look that direction. But if they just leave it alone, don't cross it, but they are going to at least neutralize it. And that's going to be a little difficult. I mean, that makes it a little more difficult now for them to push over here, because Smoke Adders should totally reposition. They're already starting to look in that direction.
Yeah, they're repositioning for this little push. Which stairs are they going to take up, though? Are they going to take these first set of stairs or the second set of stairs? Second set of stairs offering a little bit more cover. Yeah, a little more cover. And the approach, and they'll also be behind them at that point, and that's mostly what you'd rather do, because there's not too much range that they'll be able to actually get on at that point. And what you're really doing from the top then is you're just hoping they don't actually have enough jump jets to jump up on top of you. All right, they're going to be taking their first peek here soon. We'll see if Smoke Adder sees it. They should be able to see it as long as they look in that direction. Oh, quite a few mechs actually from Smoke Adders moving up to the right side hill here, if you're looking from this team side.
Yeah, they got 3 mechs chasing that one Shadow Cat, but if he can lure them out, honestly, this could become really in favor of ISENGRIM. If they're that distracted by that one Shadow Cat, and they get in here as they are starting to move now, heavy push towards that Grasshopper. Got some distance to cover, but honestly, I only saw about 2 shots get off on them so far. That's very little damage. Now I'm finally getting a couple other some beam shots, but now if they have the jump jets, I feel like this is starting to turn in ISENGRIM's favor, despite that Shadow Cat actually slipped away too.
But the Smoke Adders are decapping Epsilon and capping it in their favor, so ISENGRIM are kind of in a position here where the hand is now forced. Yeah, I don't really like that cap. I feel like you're bringing mechs away in a critical time, but look, the Summoner gets up top. Stay up. He's got that enforced now 65%. He's got to kind of get engaged, but the rest of the team has to too, and they're getting engaged on that far hill. That enforcer again absolutely tore up. Down he goes. But Cheetah is down though, so it is 1-1 for the teams. Caps are in favor of Smoke Adders. Percentages are about close enough to equal. Close enough to equal. I do feel that Smoke Adders are a bit on their back foot here. Yeah, they have dropped down, and that's going to be a really tough situation here. And it feels like ISENGRIM just has to keep the aggression up. They can't pause too much, and that Timberwolf goes down for ISENGRIM. Grasshopper in return. Yeah. Smoke Adders here are putting up a very nice little bit of a line of defense here at this one little sub hill. ISENGRIM had the 4 SPs, which to me means that Smoke Adders should try to stay up top, because those things obviously can't really shoot up at all. And now that they're on the ground, they are going to be able to get into this fight. Another mech goes down to Timberwolf for the Smoke Adders. So that's both their Timbies. Well, sorry, not both their Timbies, but both their heavies lost. Yeah, and it looks like all ISENGRIM mechs are now into the fight. All Smoke Adder mechs are into the fight. And you see a shutdown there. Dane does go down, though, while that Nova was shut down, and is still 3-all kills. Super close. The Summoner is nearly dead. 16% on it. Or Shadow Cat. Okay, Shadow Cat. There, but Valk is just before, but it is 5-all now. 4 mechs left for both teams. 3 mechs now left for Smoke Adders. 2. Yeah, it's just how long can they keep it up? A lot of hurt mechs left for ISENGRIM, but make your shots count. You can still pull it. No. Quickly goes down.
Heat level critical.
Just the Cheetah left.
Yeah, he's not going to try and make it out either. He's going to fight to the bitter end.
Now it's 5:50 to 4:11, so there's plenty of time there, I believe, for ISENGRIM to just. I think even if they just turn 1 point, this should be enough. Yeah, they've both got the Jenner. Yeah, there's no threat here. Well played though by both teams. I liked, I like when a team tries for the range strat. I thought Smoke Adder did a pretty good job at it. I think their main thing that they did wrong there is they just dropped down. They might not have realized how little of elevated fighting that ISENGRIM actually had with those 4 SPs. At the same time, you're trying to pull some range at that point because you do have mechs right in your face. But and they were even till late in that match, they were drawing even, and then all of a sudden it just started really turning in favor of ISENGRIM, and that must have been because of, well, you start running way too hot with that range.
Indeed. Val there, that summoner.
Brutal.
Go in the team stats page. 2 kills, 530 damage. He took both the Overwatch mechs on by himself, jumped up there, took the Enforcer, and then took the Grasshopper. Chased them down and did not give up, and you can see it retrospective in the scores down there. 79 damage coming out by that Enforcer and 171 damage coming out by that Grasshopper. So he effectively shut that down right.
Yeah, but huge props for Odinsteed. Look at that in the Shadowcat. 481 damage, and how much distraction was he for Smoke Adder? Sending 3 mechs after up, slips away, and still does 481 damage. Well done.
Well done indeed. Smoke Adder though, doing that. Doing it quite honestly, that's a good little bit of defense there. I mean, it was close at the end. The percentages were they were all in the orange, doing that gradual fallback, but not a lot of just staying up and shooting, too much running away, not realizing the hunchback 4 SPs can't jump.
Yeah, but even without, the 4 SPs were some of the lower damage because they probably weren't engaged as long, but, it seemed like that summoner was just way too much for those mechs to handle, so they had to just fall back. They probably didn't have much of a choice. I think, to just stay up there because it was just way too much damage. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if they had really had much they could have done better, other than I think sending those 3 mechs away is a problem, because if those mechs weren't on the Shadowcat and instead had been able to get behind ISENGRIM, they would have been able to do a lot more, I think, damage and pick out some backs, perhaps harass them while they're sitting there, kind of paused. Because ISENGRIM definitely paused at a certain point. They didn't just continue pushing around. It seemed like maybe they're waiting for their summoner to get that work done.
Yeah, there was a lot of way to push the Overwatch mechs off, especially those with the large lasers, and wait for a moment to engage. But they found their moment and got it, taking that second set of stairs, using that cover, getting in close. All the things are the dreams for the brawl deck that you bring versus an ER large. It's how you play it.
Unfortunately, Smoke Adder was not able to get another kill, because if they could have gotten 5 kills, they would have gotten a plus 50 bonus, and that's also then you would have 25. So that'd been 75 points difference if they could have gotten that 5th kill.
Indeed. What's the rep points looking at right now for both teams?
Well, right now with 2 drops, ISENGRIM has 2 drops, and Smoke Adders hasn't won yet. And ISENGRIM has 700 rep, and Smoke Adders with 150 rep.
So Smoke Adders, for the next couple drops, they need to look to, at least get their bonuses in if they feel it's not going their way. And let's not forget that Commander mech's coming in for drop 3. We all love that Commander mech. What's it gonna be? I love that thing. Awesome Q all day. What do you think? Awesome Q? Awesome Q? Bets on an Awesome Q? I think the bets are quite high on an Awesome Q.
We've seen it from a few teams. We took it, Smoke Adder took it, EMP took it. If you're going to Camp Island, it's a really good mech at that tonnage. I don't know if, the Gargoyle is an option. That's the other main one we've seen. We've also seen a Victor, but the Gargoyle is great if you're pushing, right? It's not... It can do kind of a little bit of range fight, but it's not really meant for that because it doesn't have that weapon tonnage to load up.
Indeed. So let's have a look at the map. Yeah, if you're gonna get it up.
Yes.
Okay, so this map, the good old ISENGRIM bro is pushing up towards that. I do believe it's hard to see on this map, but coming up here on the Echo 5 ridge and just kind of camping there, trying to feel out what Smoke Cutters are going to do. Sending a Shadowcat over here to Delta 5 to get that early scout. Meanwhile, the Smoke Cutters setting up on these plateaus right here. I believe they're called plateaus, right? It's plateau? Is that a plateau? That's not a plateau. It's a hill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever. Something.
Whatever. They're setting up over there with the ER large game, focusing in towards getting the Sigma cap, the Kappa cap, and the later on the Theta cap, just to dominate those 3 caps and push an advantage, hopefully, on the Smoke Headers to get them to come more out in the open and make them make a mistake. Later on, the ISENGRIM, realizing that the Theta cap's been neutralized, came down and using the second set of stairs were able to push in behind these mechs. Some of them are obviously jumping on top of the Echo 7 hill. The rest of the mechs kind of coming around this direction towards the rest of the Kappa mechs, while the Smoke Headers were forced into this area right here. And brawling ensued. Mechs were shot, Smoke Headers were killed, so were quite a few ISENGRIM. And the Shadowcat, actually, I was watching him on the minimap, went all the way around here. Just making himself being chased and then coming back up, I feel. I think he came back up on Echo 5 and then rejoined the brawl, just jumped down in there. But a big distraction, as you pointed out, Magician, of making the Smoke Headers chase him.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest mistake the Smoke Adder made, having 3 mechs that far away from the fight. I mean, they were chasing them for a while. I think maybe Teal was about an E4, just starting to get E4, then they abandoned it. But at that point, you had all 8 mechs, or all other 7 mechs of ISENGRIM getting up behind them. And they actually kind of like stalled out right about in this area. And and then you had the Summoner jumped up here and hit this one in D7. There was a 2 mechs actually in that area. The Enforcer, and went up the Enforcer first and then turned onto the Grasshopper. Yeah, but their other ones moved up here and they were hanging out here. And then at a certain point, just to race real quick, but the Smoke Adder finally kind of started pulling back this direction. As soon as they did that, that's when the ISENGRIM 4SPs could get involved. And I don't know which way they were turning, but that was the whole point, is that they kind of then were able to pinch around the D6 hill there and just jump on top of them. And finally, while it was even at up to that point and kind of even right when they're in there, it's quickly turned in favor of ISENGRIM because they just had the cooler running weapons with the SRMs to keep putting out that DPS.
Yep. The SRMs, the small pulse, just getting in faces and wrecking them.
All right, so we are going to have drop number 3 coming up very shortly, as both teams are in lobby and fully readied up. So this is going to be on Crimson Strait, and this is Conquest. This is no lights, 3 mediums, 4 heavies, and an 80-ton assault, as we were talking about before. That could be the Gargoyle, it could be a Victor, it could be an Awesome. Smoke Getters favored the range last time, so I wonder if they're going to try to do it again here and take the island with the range, maybe mix up PPC, some DACA, large pulse, and just try to control a few caps, maybe with the fast medium, such as Shadowcat or Ice Ferret.
Indeed. Well, it looks like a lot of PPCs and Ghosts coming out for the ISENGRIM side. The Grasshopper here sporting 5 ER large lasers, Dark Spartan, Timberwolf, 2 PPC and a Gauss, a Ebon Jaguar, Gauss, 2 PPC, Flamer, just in case. But we all know the reason why the Flamer's there, it's just to bump that map up. But looks like a Gargoyle coming out for the ISENGRIM side, and an Awesome Q coming out for the Smoke Cutter side for that Commando mech.
So it's definitely range for ISENGRIM there. It looks like we're going to be seeing a range versus range, so I have to see who actually fights this range fight a little bit better. I mean, it's a difficult. I think this map's difficult, very challenging map to play because there's so many movements that teams can do. You have to worry about platform. You have to worry about them pushing up land. You have to worry about them in island. It's but right now ISENGRIM is just kind of in the overlook at the edge of the city there in Charlie 3, and they're just doing a little bit of trading where Smoke Adders has moved up some platform, some island.
It's all about who gets the favorable trades, at least from here. I mean, I don't know which personally I prefer, whether it be Island or on the side in which ISENGRIM is in that. I do believe that's like Delta 4, Delta 5-ish area now, over there by those buildings. But if I honestly had to pick a side, I would pick the buildings versus over the island. There's just so much more cover over there, a lot more areas to spread your mechs out against to get the trades in on towards the island and towards platform. As you can see what the ISENGRIM mechs are doing right now. Score is very even so far. The percentages seem to be just leveling out.
You know,
nothing really deadly going on.
Smoke Adder's having all those normal large lasers, and they're fighting a lot of PPC Gauss. It seems to me that they actually would want to turn this into a bit of a push. So they got those mechs up on Kappa side, and I think what they should do, and maybe they'll look at doing that, is pushing those mechs either down and around or into the back of ISENGRIM, and at that point allowing their main force to start pushing up, because they're not going to win a sustained trade, I don't think, with the large lasers against PPC Gauss from this range.
I agree, and no team utilizing that that little hill right here just to fire down on either one of the mechs. That could play a little role later if a mech's able to get up there. ISENGRIM mech, as Odin's did, yeah, getting a little close here on this platform, seeing what he can see. There is a mech up there. There is a Nova.
Yeah, we might get a little fight here on the platform. They notice each other. Have they noticed each other?
No, they haven't. Not yet. I think
Evan Jag with PPC Gauss. Or large pulse
perfect
Gauss.
back shot coming up. That's turned that Nova around, so that's a little...
Yeah, he has no rear armor left, no internals left either. The Shadowcat's going to come here. He shouldn't be turning around. Odin's should have stayed here. He had nothing really to run away from, such with that Shadowcat there. I mean, there are other mechs there, but I get it, but I don't think he should have shown his back.
Yeah, he should have stayed there, and at least he maybe could have got a pick finding the cover of this building from the island, and the Nova backing off here. Nova's hurt. He's hurt.
All right, so we see mostly 80s, one mech in the 70s, the Cicada 3M, and then some mechs in the 90s for ISENGRIM. Where's our Smoke Adders? We see a couple mechs now in the 3 mechs in the 70s, most in the 80s. We got a fresh mech there with McGraw and the Hunchback 2CA. And Lukoi and the Hellbringer is in 91 as well. I don't think they can hang out here too long, except they have the cap lead. Now, I don't think... looks like ISENGRIM is going to try to neutralize that advantage and take data, as well as... They still have one mech up on Kappa. Seems like those 3 mechs should just jump on top of them.
Yeah,
because they're getting set up now. I mean, they're getting pinched in, and they got to drive those 2 mechs now. But on the platform, ISENGRIM, I think Smitter Carriers has to push those off.
Yeah, indeed. The little Shadowcat down here with the 2 large pulls just chipping away down there at the Black Knight. Not very often you see Black Knights now, especially since they're the tallest mech in the game. But he's trying to do something back there.
Yeah, he's doing 3 large pulls, 3 medium, but his right torso is opened up.
It's going to be deadly versus that Shadowcat. That pinpoint's going to rip that torso back off, and it's a Black Knight. It's XL. XL it.
All right, so for a cap check, we are at 268 to 181, so they're about 90 points ahead for Smoke Adders, but they are at 2 caps each, so it will be a pretty slow bleed, and there'll be plenty of time for ISENGRIM to just keep trading, because they're mostly winning these trades, so they can keep trading, get some kills, and maybe decide to cap. I mean, any point they can grab FC2 and go up 3 caps to 2.
I think the only reason why they haven't sent cap towards FC is because the ER large mech up there, the Enforcer, just have that perfect sight onto the FC cap to deny it as soon as a mech stops on. Don't forget that change where you step on a cap but you take damage, it neutralizes your efforts. You know, you can no longer cap for various amount of seconds. So he's doing his little job right there, making sure they don't grab that Epsilon cap. And Smoke Adder's just getting pinched in here. The percentages are just going further down. They're gonna have to do something.
Oh shit, man! I've been radioing it. We're back in there.
Oh,
that's all right.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, so. It's just been said on chat right now.
Yeah, at least nothing super major has happened. So, but you now have Wingbreaker in that awesome down to 48%, and the Black Knight 59%. So the Black Knight is sitting underneath towards this platform in these buildings, not quite underneath it. And that awesome, I believe, is on the island, but that means that they are kind of getting squeezed back here, and they've rotated 2 more through Sigma's side. They decided they don't want to stay on island too much, and I think ISENGRIM is seeing this, and they're going to start pushing up.
Yeah, grabbing that Epsilon cap, as you said. I mean, it's lucky that it was a radar cast up until now, because really, to be honest, guys, not a lot happened. You're only hearing this now, like not 5 minutes ago. But I think now's the time where we're actually going to start seeing something important from one of these sides. ISENGRIM are at the point where they don't have to do anything. We're going to have to see something come from the smoke adders, and it looks like they're gearing up for something along this platform side.
I feel like, though, as soon as ISENGRIM sees 5 mechs there, if they can do a count, they can rotate around their right side of the island and just come right over on top of where, what mech's that, a Hunchback there? Or the Enforcer sitting, who only has 2 large lasers left, crit torso, and they could probably just take control of the island. They would be giving up a little bit of cap control, but I think at that point that they would be able to control Theta and Epsi from the island with their fresher mechs and win the drop.
Indeed, I mean the percentages are heavily stacked in their favor right now. I mean, lower side, that building side, I did say earlier on, I prefer it to trade versus the island, but I don't think it's just that. I think it's the mixture of PPC and Gauss, just absolutely brutal these days. Versus beams, you have to be on your A game to counter it for beam weapons. Whereas they, just quick pop, shoot, go back into cover, and there's not a lot of places you can hide on that island, and that's the reason why we're seeing the percentages so low for smoke adders. It's going to be crunch time real soon.
Yeah,
they're going over pass.
They're still up on cap points, but it looks. Yeah, they're going to try to go get Gamma here, but that means they're going to be way split. So now ISENGRIM just has to choose. They just got to push on somebody. As soon as Gamma's touched, they definitely have to push. Now, that would possibly give them a 3 caps to 2 disadvantage, and if you get late in game, you could have something like we saw happening in 9th SDS or BSMC on Caustic Valley, where there's a late cap, and while they lost their trades, it was just enough of a bleed difference to give them the victory. But ISENGRIM is going to start pushing here, and if they just grab Kappa, then they won't have to worry too much about caps anymore.
Yeah, it's they come onto the platform, it's certain that dominance here, very grouped up. If any mech shoots at them, all of those mechs can fire back. I'm surprised though that they're not just seeing that these few mechs are here on the island. If they decide to go over pass or something, they're going to get sandwiched, and some nasty back shots could come of this. This could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure who's gonna actually take this. It's really close, but now that they are on Kappa, they're gonna get really high. Yeah, they're gonna get really ahead on these on the cap situation there. The Shadowcat now down to 38% for ISENGRIM. And oh no! Look how he don't. Look how he pushes first and comes through, but he's got teammates getting a little overlook. It's like a desperation push, but I don't like it. It's just way terrible. It's too hard of a position, and ISENGRIM was right waiting for that. They weren't getting enough back shots from those 3 mechs on the island, those 2 Grasshoppers and Enforcer, and it allowed them to fully focus on these mechs as they push over. And they do have 2 kills now, 3 kills ahead. They have 3 caps to 1 at this point with 650 points, and they only need 100 more. A lot of mechs hurt for ISENGRIM. But all the mechs are hurt for smoke adders, and Wingbreaker now goes down. Smoke adders, just 4 mechs left. 3 are on the island. 1 is hanging out here. But they're just rolling on top of him because they are not concerned about caps anymore. They can give up all control, and they do get that kill.
Indeed. So the 3 mechs left for the smoke adders. Let's see if they could at least get that commander mech, Krag, in the Gargoyle. He's down to 63%. Let's see what's actually open on him.
Yeah, so ISENGRIM doesn't have to engage here because they are going to win the drop, at least on points, if nothing else. If they wanted to play the points game, they would keep Carrig and King Flippy back. Anybody who's really damaged back, not to give them anything. Because if you win, I think it's still the rule this season. If you win on cap points, it counts as 8 kills. So you don't have to finish off mechs. But it's going to finish here right before they get the last kill.
Yep.
But no kills for smoke adders on this one. Now, yeah, because you also get all the bonuses too on a cap win, I think.
Indeed. So checking out these damage scores here. Odin Steed in that Evan
Wow.
Jag.
And he was the one who came up behind that Nova, or the Nova, and shot out its back right away there up on the platform that nobody got to see but us.
Yeah, it was beautiful, guys. It was that you should have been there.
That was
Great.
a PPC Gauss Ebonjag. That, you see the large pulse Gauss, but PPC Gauss you didn't see much. But that makes a lot of sense now with the current meta.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get the jump jets at the timber, but you don't really need it with the high mounts with the Ebjag. You just peek, fire, and job's a good one. And as we see there, Odin Steed just spotting it in a spectacular fashion. 732 damage. Wow. The Black Knight, though, showing that not a lot of people actually like the Black Knight these days. I mean, I don't really like it personally myself, and I think that's why. It's big, tall mech, and it has XL, and it only did 71 damage, so it's a lot of pain there. A lot of pain felt by that person.
Well, that was a long fight. I really do apologize to people about the not having the overlay up. I actually have a habit of always like alt tabbing several times at the start of a match, and I think that one, we were just talking and then they got going, and anyhow, luckily you were still able to catch about half that match. And the very most interesting bits were caught, so I'm glad you got to watch that.
Yeah, the interesting bits locally are that both teams took a range deck, so we're able to see roughly, when the good stuff was starting to happen. Just drawing on the map here, Smokeadder's taking that island. Was it one mech went on two? Yeah, it was just a Nova on two on top of the Kappa side, and I think they had two mechs come over here. And Charlie turned his back below apart, and most of all the ISENGRIM mechs just taking this default position down here. These buildings are optimum cover for trading versus the island, not so much versus the platform. I mean, there's a few places where if you get a bit of crossfire going on, which I think the Smoke Adders were kind of hoping for, they would have been all right. But all the mechs out in the open on the island is just so nasty to trade against versus that default position in the buildings. It's very rough. It's gonna hurt, especially when they're sporting PPC Gauss and can just pop in and out of buildings at will. Especially Odin Steed later on coming up on this platform here and popping in the back of that Nova. It's glorious.
Yeah, so what was happening was this Nova was, I guess he was this one right here, and he was looking in this direction, and the Ebon Jag just snuck up, PPC Gauss in the back, totally critted out, and then what I was saying was he was kind of like, when he was coming back in his line, he was showing his back, but he actually didn't take too much damage, a little bit on that right torso, but nothing popped or anything like that. So it was so most of it they were just sitting there, and I feel like because you had the Enforcer up in this area, you had two Grasshoppers mostly in that area with the large lasers, and it's not quite large laser range, it kind of go back and forth what would be best there, but I do feel like because of the situation they had to push earlier. And I understand while they're up caps, they probably felt kind of comfortable. The problem is that they're up caps, but it's only because ISENGRIM hasn't decided to take the caps. Like at any point, I think they could have at least gotten on a corner of Epsi there, or really they could have pushed some mechs up and drove them off Kappa, because while they had that one mech up there, they had that Black Knight down with the I think it was large lasers down here, and he couldn't really support that, so they didn't really have the ability to control those caps. Instead, I would have liked to seen them at that one point I was calling out, basically push down this way with these mechs and push these mechs this way, and then they would have at least had a kind of a combination pincher there, and they would have been trading PPC Gauss versus their large lasers, and I think perhaps even taking the advantage there.
Yeah, the heat would have definitely been in their favor, and as well as the sight lines. I mean, there's not a lot of places, especially with that pincer move, where the ISENGRIM mechs can go. I mean, they have to either fall back into the open ground in Delta 5, or just turn tail and run over Charlotte 4, in which case none of them will have any shots, and it'd be easy for the Smokeheaders to single out any mechs that are trying to retreat. A very deadly position. So, next map. What's the next map?
Next map is going to be Frozen City Conquest. That's a 2 all, so 2 lights, 2 medium, 2 heavy, 2 assault. And it is Conquest, as all drops after the first. Now, this is on the... this is with the new Frozen City map, so this is perhaps still the first time some of these teams have fought on that map, competed on it. And what we're seeing mostly is range. We're mostly seeing PPC guys.
Yep, let's, well, we can't exactly see what the mechs have got until the dropship's bringing in, but favorable positions on this map. This open area here, I do believe it's like Golf 5 or something like that. But yeah, I think it's Golf 5. It's on the Golf line. Golf 05 line. One of the two. It's this open area, but it's right below Epsilon on the map. It's pretty nice for teams just to get out here, set up for an open range game. They can have the Theta, Sigma, or Epsilon cap for Team 2 side, or for Team 1 they can basically have the Gamma, Theta, Epsilon cap as well and just control it from that open area.
So both teams have duplicated with the Kodiak. You see the Hellbringer once again for Lukoi. On the Smoke Adders, Cheetah, Stormcrow, Timberwolf, Nova, General 2C. ISENGRIM, though, interesting with the Orion 2C. Gonna check out what that is. So you got a Nova, Hunchback 2C, General 2C, Timberwolf, and a Cheetah. I'm thinking maybe somebody got disconnected because they have stalled. Can you go into first person and see what the chat is? Because if I go there, it's going to mess everything up.
Hold on. Yep, looks like we got a hold.
If they're going to hold, I prefer Smoke Adders to grab Sigma so they don't bleed this too much. They probably should just restart it.
Yeah, looks like the Smoke Adders lost R2D2, so everyone's having a little hold right now. The Gauss peeps coming out by Val on the ISENGRIM side. To figure out how to get out of this first person mode.
Press V.
Ah! Cheers.
I wonder if Lukoi took this build last time. I was wondering this on the Hellbringer, and 2 Ultra 5s and 4 Meads on here, and they took some Adaka Kodiak as well, so they're going to have to close that ground. They cannot sit back. They got PPCs that can provide either overlook or just help them move in, but I want to see Smoke Adders at some point in here push in more. I really wish I get Sigma or just redrop this, because it's not quite fair to be starting down basically 60 points.
Yeah. And I think, yep, they're going to kill each other and do a little redrop here. While still doing that, I shall be right back soon.
All right. Well, while he is AFK and we're getting this reset up, so far, as a recap, ISENGRIM has won each of the first 3 drops. The first drop was on Grim Plexus, Smoke Adders, and ISENGRIM they collided around the radar dish in domination mode. ISENGRIM had a little better focus fire. They split off their mechs as they went around it, able to pick off a couple mechs really quick, chopping down those legs, and they took it, I think it was 8-2. The second drop was on Verdi and Bog. Smoke Adders tried a range strat. ISENGRIM was much more brawl. ISENGRIM ended up having to push down Theta River and came up the second staircase, got behind Smoke Adder, jumped up there with their jump jetting heavies, including the Summoner, and the Summoner went after the Enforcer and Grasshopper, which really led Smoke Adders having to back off the hills, allowing the 4 SPs ISENGRIM to get into the fight, and ISENGRIM took it. Third drop on Crimson Strait. Smoke Adders took Island with kind of a medium long range drop deck as opposed to extreme range, whereas ISENGRIM was down in the cities between Epsilon and Theta, sporting PPCs and Gauss primarily, and they were able to take some control, win most of the trades, and then Smoke Adder started to feel like, well, Smoke Adder was ahead on caps. ISENGRIM started to take the cap advantage. They went after Epsilon, and they started moving up towards Kappa a little bit, but then Smoke Adders ran over the hill, trying to basically go in back cap, I think was their idea, but they left some mechs had to be still on the island. And in the end, ISENGRIM took full control of the cap situation late in the game, around 500 points. Smoke Adders had to push back in a terrible spot to have to push through, and all their mechs on the island were not really able to support when that push happened, allowing ISENGRIM a pretty easy time to turn all their mechs onto those mechs that were at the saddle, and they were able to take that drop 8-0. Well, 6-0, but they won on caps, so they get 8 kills.
I'm back. Yeah, it was a very dominating drop by the ISENGRIM there. I do feel for the Crimson Straight. I mean, they're just piling up their advantages, piling up the cap advantage when they realize that, okay, so they're controlling the 3 cap, we'll just grab the Theta, grab the Epsilon cap, and wait you out. We know we got the better position, showing patience as well to push at that right time, not just going, okay, we've got the advantage, let's just get in there. Just playing it nice and steady.
Yeah, so what I want to see, I want to see Smoke Adders be aggressive here. I feel like if they try to sit from one side of the canyon to the other, one side of the frozen river, whatever you want to call it, one ridge to the other trading, they're gonna lose. I mean, they don't have enough full range mechs. They have a lot of pushing types of mechs, at least 3 of them, which is a lot considering the tonnage of the mechs. So I think they're gonna have, and controlling Theta is really hard to do from the bottom. You're way too exposed. I'd like to see them just kind of push, maybe Sigma, maybe towards Theta, maybe towards Big Rock, which is kind of at the apex between Theta and Gamma there, and just try to get into that fight as quickly as possible and use that docket to their advantage.
Yeah, the Dak Kodiak taking the UAC 10 nerf, but still providing to be like one of the premier mechs. Kodiak's an unbelievably good assault for this season. Whether you decide to bring the Peep Gauss or the Daka for the 2 5s, 2 10s, it's still incredibly dominating on be it a push or the range game that you wish to play. And it looks like Smoke Adders are bringing 1 Gauss Peep mech and 1 Daka Kodiak at least for their little push. So it looks like they're gonna try and play a little bit of range with their Kodiak to have a bit of Overwatch, but majority of the mechs, it looks like they might have switched their deck. Nah, they haven't.
No, look, I still in that Hellbringer. So ISENGRIM stayed grouped up, took Gamma. Now they're just spread out across the ridge line. Not quite using the rock just yet. Getting some shots as Smoke Adders pushes over the old ridge, which is probably the direction they need to go. It provides the most cover in general to get close. It's a hard push though through this canyon here, and with ISENGRIM set up, it's going to make it even more difficult. Having tons of visibility on what is going on. 2 caps for each team. ISENGRIM slightly up on points.
Indeed, with that, with the Smoke Adders a bit further back there, taking that wide route, ISENGRIM could send 1 mech down there, like a light mech, just to cap that Theta and just get a little early bit of cap lead, just to make the Smoke Adders a bit more. I don't know the word. I want to say hesitant, but it's the opposite of hesitant on their push. But looks like they're going to take this route down here.
Yeah, so they're pushing a couple down there. I think it'd been better if they could have gotten a little wider. Now 3 mechs coming through that gap. That's allowing several of the big mechs here of ISENGRIM to get shots. But it is a pretty good range, and they're not quite standing up there. So you saw some of that shot clip the hill, and they haven't done a lot of damage on that. Lukoi down 80%. One of the Kodiak's 82. That's not tons of damage when you consider how much Daka can quickly do, but ISENGRIM doing the smart thing, starting to rotate, get a little bit of range there. They don't want to stand at that ridge, but that also means they no longer have any kind of a concentrated firing line, and they're going to have to somehow regain that and not allow Smoke Adders to continue to push along this ridge and through the buildings. Smoke Adders, they definitely don't want to be taking too wide of a route here, because they do that, that's going to allow ISENGRIM that much more time to spread out
and get that initial damage, and they pick out a max and start hitting them. I mean, their Kodiak over here is smoking, but I do think that's just the arms. Lukoi now down to 70%, still not taking a lot of damage, showing no fear, just pushing right up there.
Steed and then Orion is 2 PPC and a Gauss. I actually have, that's the first time I think I've seen that build being used in comp. I'm really curious to see how that turns out. He isn't towards the front though, so he could end up becoming a quickly targeted mech on this push here. And the Kodiaks are finally getting up to the main building line though, separating them from ISENGRIM. And you see ISENGRIM is trying to pull back, but Odenstein down to 59% in that Orion. He definitely took that front of those trades, and he is starting to back out, but now he's getting caught by that Hellbringer from Lukoi. Lukoi, though, at 64%. He's in the front. He should be hanging back, allows other teams to push, unless he's just going to try to tank it and give his teams that much more opportunity to enter fresh. But, all right.
Yeah, he's open CT, so he has to be very careful here. I mean...
Yeah, this is a dangerous situation here. You got a lot of the weapons here from ISENGRIM pointing to the right, and that's exactly where Smoke Adders was trying to come from. Now they finally split it up, but Lukoi does go down, but they're holding back. They're not really closing the range, and they're within their range now, but they're split up. There's not concentration. The Kodiaks are somewhat together, but not really able to even. They can't even shoot the same mechs, and that's going to cause a lot of problems here. And ISENGRIM does go up 2 kills, 3 kills to nothing. Some hurt mechs though.
Going down. Yeah, a lot of hurt mechs, but ISENGRIM just being able to set up their lines and focus down these mechs as they pour out the buildings very, very easily. Showing a lot of dominance. Odenstein staying alive in his Orion. It just keeps going. Doing a great job there in that Orion, tanking it all down. Multiple mechs just going down.
That is one of the things that can really separate certain one team from another is if you have a player who's can take a lot of damage, become an obvious primary target, and then just survive for a long time. It gives the rest of your mechs so much time and so much ability is to keep putting out damage without having to take much in return. And look, that first mech with the Orion down to 41%, but he didn't even go down. Only Terragauda goes down for ISENGRIM in that Timberwolf. And ISENGRIM takes this one 8-2.
Yeah, Odenstein, he maybe at 41%. He's open CT, but tanking like an absolute boss. Right-sided ace in build for the 2 PPC dual ghost. Just using his left side, just saying, shoot me in his left side. I don't really care what you do. And just showing his team how to tank.
Yeah, those Kodiaks are mostly able to sit out there. Odenstein actually could even take a little more damage.
Or could have just been started tanking with his right side of his mech. So ISENGRIM looking out for the caps here. A little bit too timid on the smoke adder push to get it on that firing line of the ISENGRIM and mix things up. They tried to do something with the lights, push them around the right side, but the Jenner got stuck on the building and was able to just get one shot up the butt. The cheater did manage to get around to the back, but by the time he did that, well, it was the rest of his team was dead, so he wasn't able to do anything. Let's take a look at those damage scores.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of damage from Smoke Adder, but not able to focus it. As I was mentioning, those Kodiaks when they're pushing through, they couldn't really target it the same mechs, and neither could the ones that were on the left side. So it was very spread out. I tried to flip through most of the mechs in ISENGRIM, and you could see how much damage was just being spread across those mechs. And other than Terragauda, they just weren't able to take that down. But nice job by Skuro and the Kodiak, 541, as well as Val at 502. Odenstein, despite being that major target, put out 451 in that Orion. Nice job there.
Never give up, never surrender when you're in the tanking mech. Just shoot me. It was a great little debut, I think, of the Orion 2C there. With a dual peep and a ghost, just showing what it can do.
I'm really impressed by ISENGRIM tonight. They came out to win, definitely. You were saying they've been putting in a lot of work, and it is showing.
They're determined. They're determined to win this DC no matter what. And I may be biased. I may be rooting for ISENGRIM. They are my favorite team in the MRBC, but I do like things to be earned via a decent fight. And Smoke Adders are yet to pull something at the bag versus ISENGRIM. We're gonna have to look at this last drop, but let's go over the map for this Frozen City drop. So, what happened? Well, the Smoke out of sideways, trying to take this left-hand path here, taking the Kappa as well as the Sigma, and then coming over, trying to use this little bit of defilade here against the firing line that was set up by the ISENGRIM mechs over in these buildings right here. Allowing though the ISENGRIM mechs just to have full control really over the map and where they wish to move. I mean, they could have gone over the Theta, grab that and do all that, but luckily enough, they realized that this valley right here, where Theta is located, is a bit of like a valley of death. Once you're in it, it's really hard to get out of it. So they just decided just to pull back into these buildings and create a nice decent firing line for these for the smoke adder mechs, which eventually pushed all the way wide right and down in this position right here.
Yeah, and I think this is where, you know, they had taken some damage, but it wasn't insurmountable. But when they started pushing some mechs down this line here, this open, and you had like this little you know, U shape basically, or crescent moon shape by ISENGRIM, they were able to focus down, do a lot of damage. They had some more mechs over here as well, so it wasn't like they were totally grouped up, but they wouldn't want to be anyhow. But you had one Kodiak that from Smoke Adder moving down this way, and one was other kind of weaving in the building, so they weren't able to concentrate fire. I think instead, what they tried to do, I think was good, but I think what they should have done at that point is once they saw that, you know, one of the things they could have really just done in general is maintain some oversight. They could have had a light kind of looking this way or this way, so they could attract ISENGRIM's movements the entire time. By having all the mechs together, they weren't really able to do that. They even could have sent lights up here and gotten ready for some back shots, but also just spying them out, causing a little bit of chaos there, because you don't want them to feel comfortable they can just sit there. But if they would have instead, I think one came this far side, like all the way this far side, they would have not taken much damage, but they didn't take enough, so you know, I'll give it to them on pushing it up there. I think that worked okay, but like I mentioned, you don't want to go too wide, so if they just would have kind of cut right here, there wasn't much that ISENGRIM could do because they were backing up, and they would have saved themselves a lot of time, and then they could have just came through these buildings, become, I guess, a pitchfork, so they could have gone all Satan on them and just really get on closer to them, and without taking as much damage as they did. But coming through this open area around putting these slashes, that was way too much easy space for ISENGRIM to focus fire.
Yeah, Odin just utilizing his right-sided mech as well there, was able just to, you know, get free trades. If they did take that left path, then a lot more would have been exposed of that mech, and it would have gone down. I predict. Well, I can't predict anymore because it's never going to happen, but it would have been in a lot more vulnerable state to poke at. And they did try sending their light mechs around like this left-hand side. If they'd preferred that left-hand approach, as you talked about, then the left-hand side would have been a lot more favorable for the light mechs, you know, because, well, the focus fire would have been a lot more down for the ISENGRIM mechs, and the light mechs would have been able to get in whilst their team survived. Maybe even taking a bit more of a path down here, just a bit more cover and buying a bit more time for the smoke adder push. Interesting map, the new Frozen City. There's a lot of places where you can go, set up your lodge, or even do some interesting brawl stuff. I'm looking forward to see what other teams do on this map with this tonnage.
Yeah, I think it... Okay, I was one of those people upset that they got rid of old Frozen City. Still upset that we can't play it. But I understand when you're trying to do some graphical upgrades and new textures and stuff, you don't want to upgrade that one. You don't really want to keep the old one sitting around. But my opinion, still keep it around. But the changes, it makes it a pretty interesting map. I know some people really hate this map because they hate the fact that often in pub drops you have like this ridge to ridge and one team pushes through, you know, and are we gonna push or not push? And yeah, but I think for competitive play on Conquest, I've seen some really interesting drops so far, especially how we're capping Sigma at. You got the cave there, and then you have this I guess you can go, is it right here or something? I barely like explored this area, but there's that, you know, area you can pretty much go back between those two. I'm curious to see how this map evolves competitively, because we no longer have to worry about teams sitting out in like this no man's land, and you know, like back in the day where people, I guess it was more like this area, but yeah,
those areas are now kind of like off limits. If you want to give up the map to cap control, then you go sit out there with the R large and pray and hope that the team pushes you. But Conquest basically says no to any strat like that, so yay for Conquest.
Okay, so up next is going to be Caustic Valley, hot map with the center caldera. This is going to be 4 assaults, 2 heavies, and 2 lights. Is that correct?
Yep. So what's the odds we're going to see Dakar on this one? I don't know, pretty good.
Pretty good. A lot of teams have been taking 1 Atlas. I don't know if that's because they feel like they're going to get the utility out of the Atlas, like they're going to push at some point, or if it's like, well, we've taken 2 Kodiaks, we've taken a Mauler. Do we want to take a Direwolf or King Crab? I mean, what do you think about the 4th assault? If you're going to do like 2 Kodiaks and a Mauler.
If I was going to do 2 Kodiaks and a Mauler, I'd probably either bring a Direwolf or I would bring another IS Assault. I'd probably bring a Banshee, to be honest, on this map. Not Banshee 3M. Maybe a Banshee 3M or maybe a Banshee 3E, just to add some extra Dakar in there and some lasers, just to get some more poking damage and get those high mounts, utilize them, and keep some heads down on a push, because pushes seem to be inevitable on Caustic Valley. I mean, once the caps are up or caps are down for one particular side, it always evolves into, okay, so one team's into a position, we have to push it, so let's just go for it. I think that's why teams usually favor the Dakar on this hot map.
All right, what about for heavies? You can't take the Black Widow, so what else might a team take?
Well, you can still bring the Warhammer. You can still bring that 6R. It's still a very, very powerful mech with the dual UAC 5s and dual peeps. Still puts out the damage. You don't have to use the peeps. You can just keep firing the UAC 5s and use the peeps if needs be. Timbies. Obviously, people always bring a bloody Timby. Could we see a summoner?
If you were going to push? Or do you mean with the using the jam chance quirks and going with the couple Ultra 5s?
Well, we've seen Mech in the past bring a summoner with dual UAX.
I love that mech, man. It's so much fun. It used to be great, but now you run into Kodiaks and Warhammers and stuff. Not as great anymore.
Yeah, they remind you not to run those mechs.
So there's also the Jaeger DD. That also has that jam. Is it the jam chance or cooldown? I forget exactly the quirks on there, but I think it's jam chance with the 3 Ultra 5s.
Yeah.
You Marauder with 3 AC 5s is a pretty good DACA. So
anything basically that spots those high mounts, just to either peek over the caldera and just get that damage in and favor the trades, basically. Anything like that, and you're set to go.
All right, both teams are in the lobby, waiting on a couple to go green.
There's one. Come on. Superatomic airplane. Don't fail me. Ready up.
So as everyone's seeing, if you're just joining us, ISENGRIM up 4-0 on Smoke Adders, and basically just being dominant today. I mean, 1400 rep to 175. Basically this season of MRBC, they've stripped out some zeros just to make us not feel so wealthy. It's reputation as opposed to C-bills. It's a little bit easier to understand, quicker to figure out, okay, 175, all right, if it kills 25, and they haven't won at all, you can figure out pretty quickly that they've only managed today to kill 7 mechs. But ISENGRIM has been really, playing very tactically sound. They haven't made any significant mistakes today.
Yeah, they're showing their hunger to win this Div C. It's all happening in Div C, man. Everyone knows that. It's all happening in Div C, and everyone wants to see Eisen go up. But Smoke Adders, come on. Can you put a halt to this with this last drop?
Drop 5 on Caustic Valley here in this Week 2 matchup. Last drop of the night. Smoke Adders definitely wants to get a win here. It can be hard. It can be really hard to come back, even next week, coming back from, if you lose 0-5. It's hard. You got to regroup. But if you can come out at least with a win on that last drop, start getting a little bit of, I guess, belief back into yourselves and your team and everything, it goes a long way.
Indeed. It also like cements anything like, okay, so we're not doing so well on these lighter drops, but yet we can win the heavier drops. You know, it gives you a better idea of what to work on if you can then get into that mindset of, okay, so these drops aren't going so well with these lighter drops. We're trying to boost up these heavy drops. And,
yeah, I'm a little concerned for Smoke Eaters here just because of the Battlemaster 2C, which I love that mech. It's a great assault mech. Probably large pulse there, maybe even large lasers. But I'm a little concerned because you called it with Mech the Dane and that summoner. That means Isengrim probably is going to start getting a little bit more aggressive, and I don't know if that and the Black Knight has the heat to hold out here. It looks like we have another disconnect though.
Indeed. Hold on, let me just go into the spec. The first person. Yep, Gengar Affleck. Hold. And there's like a full crash there on the Smoke Eater side. And it's Kirigor who's disconnected, so let's take a quick look at the builds on which these teams are sporting. Dual Gauss, Dual Peep coming out the Odin Steed and the Dire Wolf. He seems to be loving the Ghost and the Peep tonight. Doing whatever he can. And interesting enough, a Banshee 3E on the Isengrim side as well. I wonder what they've got on that mech. Let's go over there and take a look. And 3 large laser, 3 AC5s on the Banshee 3E, so some lasers just to keep some head down like I was saying earlier, as well as the AC5 just to complement the rest of the mechs. The 2 Kodiaks sporting the Daka for the Isengrim side. As for heavies, there's that Mech the Dane in those UAC builds. And there's your
Alright, here we get going though.
Oh, we're going back up. Okie dokie.
Yeah, we're not doing a restart. It looks like Smoke Eaters is pushing along the right side of the Caldera. Isengrim is actually holding the lower ridge there by the Gamer lower ridge. And it looks like they might both try to get a light mech on Theta, but right now we're still just at the 1 cap. Okay, now Isengrim's making a little more movement towards Epsilon, and that's what they're going to want to do if they want to receive this with Daka. Perhaps they didn't want to push up there because they don't know if they'd be coming into Atlases, so they're playing a little bit standoffish, but once they see some of this large pulse and PPC Gauss, they might start thinking about moving, and they could probably move up. They want
I don't know, actually. I really favor this position right now from Isengrim. I mean, they've got this firing line set up with all this Daka waiting for anything to come around this corner.
Yeah, Smoke Eaters don't want to poke here. They're not going to want to get too aggressive here, but that's what they've done. They've actually done 2 mechs there, poked one after the other. Black Knight, 86%. Battlemaster, yeah, it took some damage, but not too bad. But Lukoi now taking significant damage, and that Kodiak down to 87%. Just poking off on the same side. Not really what you want to do at any point because it's way too easy for that team. They don't even have to move their cursor more than a few millimeters just to keep firing along here. And yeah, those percentages dropping really quick there across the board for Smoke Eaters, but not. I mean, they do have the most damage on single mech with Kurek at 69%, but that's about it.
Yeah, the vast majority of the Smoke Eater mechs now taking the damage. The Gen 2C apparently somewhere on the map got caught out. Is he with the main group doing that little bit of pushing? Oh, the Black Knight just taking so much face damage. My God, 67%. Craig though, in that Kodiak 3, they seem to be focusing on him pretty good. That line's now retreated by him.
All right, so Mech the Dane has moved up though towards the Caldera edge. He's looking to start maybe trying to get some jump shots, some back shots, but Lukoi's going through the backside, and they're starting to spread out. That's what they need to do, but they've taken so much damage. They still have 4 mechs on that line. It's going to be really hard, I think, to start evening this up. But they did get Craig down 53%, and Terragato is 63%. The Banshee down 70%. So really, they actually have done it.
Yeah, they have done a nice amount of focus fire on those two mechs, and the Kodiak here is being very, very key.
Yeah, Lukoi's poking in one of the hard spots to do. He's going to take a lot of damage on that. He came through that wide open gap. You have to get your mech almost all the way up taking shots, and he is punished down to 65 for that. Now, Smoke Adders has taken the cap edge by moving the Caldera.
Oh, here we have the big old engagement right here. Carrot goes down into that Kodiak. This was 63%. Odinsteed gets a nice quick back shot on the Mauler, taking him down. And looks like right now we have a full-on engagement going on.
Yeah, so it's one each, but ISENGRIM's percentages are actually probably a bit lower at this point as they came over that ledge. Smoke Adder is able to put a lot of damage into it and is now 2-all. But the Big Max Kodiak's way down damaged. Both teams.
Self-destruction by Luke, that's gonna cost them. Kodiak 3 going down to self-destruction is not something you wanna have happen.
So he has Smoke Adder's max really in this Caldera, and now they kind of are probably just want to wait for the poke, but that doesn't make them a little bit hotter, because if they come over this edge there, as a Kodiak's going to get piled up onto, and he doesn't actually go down. McGraw is still managing to stay alive and is 4-all. We have the closest drop of the night so far. Who's going to take this one? Is Smoke Adder going to get their first win there? Oh no, they're down, way down on percentages now. ISENGRIM, a little bit healthier, is starting to trying to get everybody here on this last Kodiak McGraw, and they do take him down and Wingbreaker same time, and just left at the end, but
yeah, Super Atomic Bear staying fresh, the freshest mech on the field in that Jenner, 75%, so he was able to stay out of the fight for enough, but last getting some back shots.
He is having a light come after him, so that's not something he's able to get away from. He's trying to fight this out, but he's probably going to take a shot here at some point and just go down. Oh no, it shuts down.
Destroyed.
Nice, that's it. It's GG. The Smoke Adders unable to halt the ISENGRIM win spree.
Well, Luke a little bit frustrated there, I think. Feeling maybe they got misplaced in B this season based on previous results, but you know, I mean, that's only so much can be done, I think, in predictions of where the team's going to be at when they're setting up these divisions based on previous results and player movements and all that.
At 25%.
But that drop was really close. Smoke Adders holding the Caldera did a lot of damage in early trades, made it super close throughout it, but at the end of it, ISENGRIM just a little bit more armor left over to take this victory.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to actually hold their own against that. Like, a really, really solid firing line that Eisen had right there, and picking off Craig pretty early, singling out those mechs, and that's one of the key things you want to do, I feel, against those setups. Pick out a key mech, nail them, and so when the inevitable happens, you're able to take it down real quickly.
Yeah, I actually think there was a few individual mistakes there made by Smoke Adder. I feel like Mukwe doing that high poke there, having a relatively decent armored Kodiak. I mean, he did the most damage. Okay, hard to criticize him for that, but he did go down to 65% on that single poke, and I think that was something he didn't need to do, and probably unless his team's fully engaged, not worth poking into. But look at those damages. I mean, 765 once again. Ozensteed doing an excellent job tonight, and Val as well playing the assaults very well. 713 damage. This is a lot of damage. I mean, it's a lot of armor to work through, but really high damages here. Wingbreaker 622 on that Timberwolf.
Yeah, they're definitely making a showing and asserting their dominance on that field. Odenstead just tearing about next with the Gaz PPC. He's loving it tonight. Super Atomic Airplane surviving that long in that light and got the 3 kills. Just picking mechs apart at the back, doing his little job in the light mech. And that's that.
So ISENGRIM's going to take this match 5-0. Smoke Adders, once again, not able to get the bonus. Didn't kill all the assault mechs or heavies. Or at least all the assault mechs.
Yeah, they got a fair few. I mean, they did that Crag pick right at the very off, that Kodiak 3 with the Daka, just nailing him down. So when the inevitable push happens, they're able to focus him, but unable to just finish it. I mean, the percentages were in the favor there for a little bit, and Odensteed actually got flanked. They came around behind him in that dire, and that's one of the things you never want to have happen to you in a dire. And he was able to just make himself survive and just keep on firing. Even getting a very nice back shot in one of the enemy maulers as well.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a few, despite a few, I would consider mistakes, but, the trades weren't that bad with Smoke Adders coming over along this edge here to the E5 corner. It's really hard to...
Other way. Other direction.
Other direction. They came.
Smoke Adders came this way.
They came this. I was like, man, that's not right. So they were trading here, but they were lined up, with these 4 mechs or whatever it was poking. Whereas ISENGRIM was kind of just they're all in. Well, they weren't in Sniper Hill. That's not right. So they were, but they had the nice line there, and that's really hard to poke into. Finally, they started to rotate. Smoke Adders, they came in Theta, was able to take out Theta. But even from here, I mean, sometimes, back, there was some changes here and there to this map, smoothed out some ridges. And prior to that, this team on the ridge could really stand up here and poke and win most of the trades. But after the change, it seemed to even out a little more. A little bit easier for that team E3, D3 to trade back. But ISENGRIM, I probably recognize some of those weapon differences, as we were mentioning, between the large pulse, large laser type mechs. They decided to just push up to this edge. And I thought for sure, okay, they're close, they're going to win this. But Smoke Adders did a good job just hanging out in this caldera. And when they came over, they did some good concentrated fire. Kept the match really close there to the end. But at a certain point, maybe the DPS once again favoring ISENGRIM.
Well, what the light mechs did was after the Cap Gamma, they went down to Epsilon, and Super Atomic, the one light mech who picked up the 3 kills. Once these mechs were inside of Theta, he was able to just come up here, almost around the back of the main engagement, and get a few nice picks on some back shots on there, and finishing off with some mechs, and he ended the game with 3 kills. So whatever he did in that light mech from that position was, I think, pretty key. Finishing it only on 71% or something like that. Prior to that, he was able to do a lot of nice, decent work in his Jenner, making it work. Big fat Jenner's doing something. Who'd have thought it?
Well, now the question is going to be for both these teams. ISENGRIM got to continue. Got to continue this win, this dominant win, getting all these points. You got to make it count, continue moving forward, try to win this season. As for Smoke Adders, they got to come back from this.
They got to regroup, man.
They got to figure out they were so close. I mean, they tried some good tactics. They did a lot of things right tonight. They were so close in certain circumstances. Even though they didn't get a lot of kills, there was times on Viridian where I thought, okay, they have a good chance here. Caustic Valley, same thing. A lot of, some good chances there. I even think, even when they got blown out on Frozen City, that they made some really good moves there and some good, they observed what was going on, started making those choices. If they just had, maybe, fix a few things, come back next week, take a win.
Yeah.
Get back into the hunt.
I hope that first place.
Yeah. And it's not even if you can't get first, maybe you're fighting for second, maybe you're fighting for third. You got to keep fighting forward, because what you don't want to get relegated if you can help it. Because even if you don't feel you're strong this season, you feel like you Smoke Adders, you got some good players, got very experienced people. You don't want to drop a division. Maybe you try to build in between, so that you're a really competitive team next season in Division C, as opposed to being down in the top of Division D.
Yeah. A lot of positive things that Smoke Adders can take from tonight, but also gotta go away, lick those wounds, come back stronger than ever for their next match. Let me just see what their next match is going to be against. Smoke Adders. They will next face on the 24th, I do believe. Yeah, on the 24th, it says here of October, they'll be facing the Legion of the Damned.
All right. No, I mean, Smoke Adders did win their first match.
5-0 versus Honey Badger.
Yeah, and Honey Badger ended up winning or losing 2-3 in their next match, which is against Legion of the Damned. So you have to feel like that's a favorable match for Smoke Adders. So
indeed, they should go into that definitely feeling like the favorites, and but at the same time, I would feel that they wouldn't want to go into it and just, feel like they want to play absolutely dominant, get 8-0s in there, and build that confidence back up in themselves, and come back for the rest of the season.
Now, as for Isengrim, next week.
Oh, it's that time next week.
I demand a video.
I demand a video.
I want to see the wolves hunt. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I hope to, if I can't cast it, somebody's got to cast it, because that match has to be on video. I don't even know how many of the same players is on that night scoring team. I don't even care. It doesn't matter. The name's there. The history's there. It has to be shown. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, yeah, it has a lot. Pretty much it's the entire NS team, I think. Most of it on that team.
Indeed, yeah. The night scoring versus the Isengrim match. Everybody wants to see that. So get the casting for that. Get the Dane video. Okay? We want the video on the Reddit. We want maximum hype, maximum shit talk. Night scoring, bring it as well. We want to see you guys, come in and say, actually, hold on. We see you, Isengrim, with your Div B dreams. We're gonna slap you, silly. We want some proper scrappage next.
Well, but yeah, but let's also cheer on Mr. Bias over here. Let's cheer on some night score. I mean, they won last season. They decided, based on players not necessarily all being there, not to continue on to Division B, back in the C. So they're probably still mostly the favorites for the season, and they're going to be, I think, bringing it too. But Isengrim's putting in work. They're work. I don't know what where NS is at right now. I don't know if they're doing a lot of scrims, but next week we'll find out.
Oh yeah, be there.
Yeah, it'll be next Thursday, I believe. Yes, on the 27th
of October.
Oh, we can't cast that. We'll be fighting 42. Somebody, bandit. Somebody.
Bandit.
All right.
Yeah, don't cast that match. Cast that match.
Yeah,
That's
cast
the
that match. Who cares about Division A? Boring. All right. Do you have any final thoughts here before we check out?
Not much really, but yeah, great matches. Great showing by the Isengrim guys. Good job.
Yeah. And well fought by Smoke Adders. Thank you to both teams allowing us to cast and for participating. And I'm the Magician, joined today by Ruza. Ruza, this is your first or second cast?
This is my first.
Awesome. It was nice casting with you. I guess I'm introducing new casters. Last time it was Arisai. I always call him Aries, but whatever. He's been on the team for how long? Who cares? Yeah. This time, bringing you on here. So, good times. Thanks everybody for watching, and peace.
Peace.